Let's take a look at server-side form processing using PHP. I have a PHP file opened up over here, which has some HTML elements in it and some PHP code up at the top. I have an HTML form here with two text boxes for input, one button to submit the values of the form, and then a display element over here to display the results of the computation or the response back from the web server. You can see my inputs are named cost and number. And if you look at the form attributes, there are two common methods to exchange data from the presentation layer to the web server, get and post. So I'm using post over here to post the data to the web server. The action attribute is blank, which basically says the data is not going to be sent to a separate file, but in fact will be posted to the exact same file. So again, what happens is when this page loads, again, this is a PHP file, so this runs on the web server. You need a running web server with PHP on it to make this file run. But essentially, I have a check over here at the top that says if this page is loading in response to a post because of the calculate button being pressed, which is this button right here that I have, because I don't want this code to run when the page loads initially. I only want it to run when the user has pressed the calculate button. So it will only run. So I'm basically saying, hey, if post calculate is not empty, meaning the user has actually pressed the calculate button, go get the value that was posted for the cost element, go get the value that was posted for the number element, multiply the two together and save it in a variable called total cost, which in my presentation layer, I'm basically saying over here that, hey, if total cost, remember when the page loads for the very first time, this code doesn't run. The PHP code over here doesn't run, which means total cost does not have a value. So rather than output some sort of a null, I basically say, hey, output or echo the value of total cost only if it is not empty. So I'm saying if total cost is not empty, then echo out the total cost. Once the user has pressed the calculate button, it has gone through the PHP code, total cost will have a value assigned to it, and then it won't be empty, so that value would be outputted. Now, one way to quickly check to make sure that your simple PHP code runs is there's a lot of fiddlers. I have one of those fiddlers over here, phpfiddle.org, and I basically copied and pasted my code in here in the code space. And then when I hit run, you will basically see it in action. Here's the first text box, the second text box, and then when I hit calculate, it goes through the post and then it outputs the value $39.95 over here. So again, if you have access to a web server, your own web server, you can put this PHP, you can install PHP on it and run it, but you can also put it on something like a PHP fiddler and check to make sure your code works. Thank you very much for your time.